likely be retiring in the Marlboro Tatra truck. It'll be a big blow to the Gaston Rayet team that one of their service trucks has gone out of the event. Another dawn in the desert, and another day, and once again it's Ari Vatanen that's leading the 1988 Paris-Dakar. The Flying Finn has completely dominated so far, and the only man who seems capable of keeping with him at all is Pierre Latigue in the Mitsubishi. This is the style that took Ari Vatanen to World Rally Championship honours on many, many occasions and took him to the overall victory in the Paris-Dakar in 1987. On this form, it's difficult to see anybody heading him back to Dakar. This is Pierre Latigue, and this is perhaps the only man who's in with a real chance of challenging Ari Vatanen. 9 minutes and 52 seconds down, but yet to notch up his first stage win, despite that sort of spectacular driving. In third spot, number 209, Patrick Zanaroli in the first of the Camel Range Rovers. And 1 hour, 11 minutes and 13 seconds behind the leader. It's good to see 3 different makes in the top 3. But Zanaroli rapidly losing touch with the 2 at the top of the leaderboard. In fourth place and only 22 seconds behind Zanaroli, it's Juha Kankkunen, the double World Rally champion. Andrew Cowan's in 5th place, but this is Kenji Shinazuka moving up to 6th position, 1 hour, 44 minutes and 2 seconds behind runaway leader Ari Vatanen. Hiroshi Masuoka had been lying in 8th place, but a disaster put him down to 44th position, nearly 13 hours behind the leaders. But for Guy Coulsol, there was even worse in store. He was shortly to retire from the event. So, as Italian Franco Pico goes on his way, this is the man to watch. Cyril Neveu, 5 times a winner, struck problems in the early stages of this rally, but he seems to have recovered from that and recovered from it with a vengeance, sliding the Honda round the corner and powering onwards and up the rankings. Cyril Neveu, never a man to be discounted at any stage. Number 22 is the Spaniard Arcarons on the unusual Camel team Merlin Nomada. He's a former competitor in the World 250cc Motocross Championship. And charging into view, Franco Pico's Chesterfield Yamaha teammate Grasso. And he looks as if he means business, hunched over the front of those handlebars. Grasso is a man in a hurry. And here's another man in a hurry. And the man everybody is chasing in the quest for Paris-Dakar glory. Ari Vatanen. So far, nobody has managed to get on terms with the Flying Finn, who's in magnificent form as he gives the new 405 Peugeot an absolutely faultless debut. So far, the only man that's come at all close to Ari Vatanen is Pierre Latigue in the Mitsubishi Pajero. Mitsubishi have obviously done a great deal of work on this car since the 1987 Paris-Dakar, completely redesigning it from the ground up, and it seems to be paying dividends. Note the aerodynamic shape at the back. That's a big help in the long, flat, blasting sections of the Paris-Dakar. Raul Raymond-Dice in the Range Rover had been lying in 7th position, but he was to slip down the leaderboard. Raymond-Dice, a very experienced Paris-Dakar competitor in the Range Rover. And this is Van der Reyt in the second of the 2 DAF trucks. A magnificent sight against the awesome emptiness of the desert. Van der Reyt powering his way onwards towards 12th position overall. But if you think that's incredible, his teammates doing even better. Jan de Rooij constantly astonishing the competitors. One man said he was doing 200 kilometers per hour when all of a sudden a daft truck came past him as if he was standing still. And as Van der Rate goes about his business along the Paris-Dakar trail, there's another vehicle going about his daily duties too. The local petrol tanker. Double winner Gaston Rayet had looked every inch a candidate for win number 3 when trouble struck the Marlboro Suzuki. The engine blew and Rayet was in big trouble alone in the desert. He had to wait for his backup rider Andre Boudou to arrive and then for his service truck to get on the scene. All in all, it cost him about 4.5 hours while they were swapping over the motors. But Gaston Rayet, a very experienced Paris-Dakar contender, works on with his crew as the rally carries on around him. The world is filled with many deserts, but none holds quite the awe for the traveller as the Sahara. Its dunes are higher than anywhere else. The expanse of sand goes on further than anywhere else. And for generations, travellers have been pitting themselves against the challenge that is crossing the Sahara. The desert can seem a very lonely place when there's just an indistinct trail and your map to guide you through the seemingly endless sand. Ickx is the man you'll see in a moment, stranded in the desert after rolling his larder. Jackie Ickx, winner of the event in 1981 for Mercedes, second in 1986, and the man responsible for Porsche's double victory in 1984 and 86 when René Mege, now the route organizer of the Paris-Dakar, was at the wheel. This is a very second-hand larder indeed. And Jackie Ickx certainly has some explaining to do to his team manager there. Ickx and his co-driver Tarin very lucky to walk away without a scratch from that incident. They all look very cool about it now, but just look at the damage to that car. It's incredible that anybody could get out without an injury. We asked Jackie Ickx exactly what had happened and how he was.
Jackie Ickx, first of all, how are you?
I'm all right. Why?
The car seems to be in a big mess.
Yeah, well, I think it's a mess, a total mess. We flew over a jump of sand that we didn't sow, and we had a rollover, so the car is totally destroyed.
What speed were you doing when you hit the...
Not very fast, maybe 80 kilometers per hour. But we had some dust from a car in front of us, so we didn't see it.
So what happens now?
Well, no adventure. It's starting because we have to bring back the car to Assimé-Saout, and we are 75 kilometers away. I think it's not too dramatical. We will find some solutions.
Are you disappointed?
Of course, because everybody works a lot on that program, and the mechanics worked a lot, and so it's always disappointing when you're retired from a race.
I'm back again next year, though.
Of course.
Even in the middle of the desert, you sometimes have to beware of people crossing the road. Watch out for those pedestrians. They'd certainly get a shock if leader Ari Vatanen was to come through at racing speeds. Ari Vatanen in absolutely superb form in the Peugeot 405, but faltering slightly yesterday with that mechanical